If we hold ourselves together, we'll go far. Created a space. In my head it was empty, but I know that I want to be where you are. I was denied. I had spent those years, did not recognize the person that's inside. We have a purpose, but to take that leap you must recognize the person that's inside. Believe me, I swear, the story's not over. As I fall, I will continue to get up. I cannot stop because it is over. Live in the moment, living in a quiet place. To be everywhere, to be without a care. I was denied. I had spent those years, did not recognize the person that's inside. We have a purpose, but to take that leap you must recognize the person that's inside. The person that's inside.
Witam was wszystkich bardzo serdecznie na kolejnym streamie z GDC 2019. Jak mówiłem na poprzednim streamie, gdzie oglądaliśmy sobie konferencję Google'a, niestety dzisiejsza konferencja Unity będzie na żywo, ale nie na żywo, bo będziemy oglądać zapis tej konferencji. Ona była 18 marca, o ile dobrze pamiętam. Nie mogłem jej wtedy oglądać, też ona była gdzieś tam chyba w środku nocy, z tego co pamiętam. Także tym bardziej po prostu, bo to było w środku tygodnia. W każdym razie, tak jak mówię, dzisiaj obejrzymy sobie, wy ją tutaj widzicie? Nie, tutaj widzicie, o tu, here jest już podgląd tego, jak to będzie wyglądać. Ja wyłączę w OBS tryb studia. No i co? I będziemy sobie oglądać. Mam nadzieję, że będzie fajnie. Nie wiem, czy muzyka pewnie trochę jest za głośno, mam wrażenie. Troszkę ją sobie przyciszę, bo też mnie zagłusza. To co? Myślę, że bez zbędnego gadania po prostu będziemy zaczynać. Zobaczymy sobie, co Unity pokazało na tej konferencji. Ja nic nie czytałem, także to też dla mnie będzie nowość. No i mam nadzieję, że będzie fajnie, także co? Lecimy. Zaraz sobie tylko zobaczymy, czy tutaj jakoś tego dużo nie ma. Dobra, widzisz, to się od razu zacznie, okej.
Hello and welcome to San Francisco. We're here for the Game Developers Conference 2019, but more importantly for right now, we're here for the Unity keynote. So thank you for joining us.
So if you're looking for the keynote, you're in the right place. You're also able to talk to all of our evangelist and community team, so please jump into our chats and talk to us about all the exciting things that are coming up that you're looking forward to.
Keep them busy.
Exactly. So we also have a number of keynote viewing parties in our offices in San Francisco, in Bellevue, in Montreal, and we have a bunch of user groups as well.
Yeah,
right?
so hi to all the user groups who've got together to watch the keynote too. We have California, Washington, Texas, Oregon, DC. Hello and welcome for joining us. It's great that we're all watching the keynote together.
Well, exactly. So the keynote is going to begin in around about 20 minutes, so stay tuned. You're not going to be disappointed. We've got some amazing stuff to show you. So we're going to have some of Unity's brightest and best minds on stage to tell you all about what's coming throughout 2019 and beyond. So Liz, what are we going to see tonight?
So we're going to see a lot of the lightweight render pipeline, not only with its great visuals, but also its high performance for mobile and other platforms too. So just a quick reminder that it's going to be out of preview in 2019-1, so you're going to see a lot of great use cases for it tonight.
Exactly, and 50% of all mobile games are made with Unity, and we're going to have a little look at some of the great things coming up to help you create and operate your mobile games. So let's take a little look at that video.
Okej, ja mam nadzieję, że tu nie będzie takiego zbytniego fokusu na mobilkach, bo szczerze mnie mobilki jakoś nie jarają w ogóle. Nie jarają w ogóle, nie wiem co ja właśnie teraz powiedziałem. Physics 3.4, no spoko. Dynamic Resolution widzę, no ten low weight render pipeline. New input system, o proszę, dla mobilek. Okej. No fajnie, spoko. Mi tam pasuje.
Very cool. Lots of stuff coming up for mobile, but it's not just about mobile, is it, Liz?
No, it's not. We've got a little bit of AAA for you too. So we've got some industry veterans joining us on the stage tonight. So we have Warren Spector, who's given us a little bit of a tease of what Other Side Entertainment are up to.
It's going to be some kind of shocking reveal, I'm sure. Lorne Lanning is also here, legendary Lorne Lanning, to talk about Oddworld Soulstorm. So all of you Abe fans out there will get your fill.
We know that there's a lot of you. Something I'm particularly excited about is our VP of Graphics, Natalia Tatarchuk, is going to be revealing the new project from the team that brought you Adam and Book of the Dead. So please stay tuned for that. It is visually going to blow your socks off.
Yeah, it's really cool. And speaking of sweet graphics, Liz, did you see the real-time ray tracing demo?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you guys didn't see this, so you can see it on screen right now. This is a demo that we've done with BMW, and there's going to be a whole lot more of this in the keynote tonight. We're going to dive into the project.
No właśnie, bo to gdzieś tam słyszałem w newsach, że właśnie, że Unity dostaje właśnie wsparcie pod RT. Także fajnie, fajnie.
Well, Unity keynote would be complete without our CTO, Joachim, who's going to be showing us the new innovations for the data-oriented tech stack, or as you may know it, DOTS.
And also, there's a very special partner coming up in that segment as well, so look out for it.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
So GDC week kicks off this week, and tomorrow is the developer day. Of course, it kicks off right now, but it also kicks off tomorrow with our developer day, where we have a bunch of sessions on things like machine learning, multiplayer, spatial computing, things like that. And if you're not lucky enough to be at GDC, which many of you aren't, you can pick them up afterwards in the GDC Vault. We also have talks on our booth, which we'll be broadcasting all week, and you can also pick those up on our YouTube channel for free, of course, afterwards.
Absolutely. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of great talks on the booth as well. So we've got visual effects graph, we've got shader graph, we've got getting started with the first person sample game. There's lots of great talks, so please come along, and as Will said, please check the landing page.
Ja bym chciał zobaczyć, jak wygląda ten machine learning właśnie w Unity, jak to jest wspierane, bo tak szczerze zasadzie mnie zaczęło jarać trochę właśnie machine learning, AI i w ogóle, trochę mi zaczęło tym interesować, tylko nie mam oczywiście czasu, ale właśnie takie zastosowanie w grach, ale i ogólnie, wiecie, zastosowanie sztucznej inteligencji, bo Bardzo mi się to podoba.
Number 227, or just look for the giant Unity logo. You can't really miss it. So what's on the booth, Liz? Tell me about it.
We've got lots on the booth for you. So if you've got any burning Unity questions that you want to ask, whether it's like from graphics to like mobile, we have an answer bar. So please come along and talk to our experts. We're there to answer your questions, and we'd love for you to join us.
Exactly, and we also have demos. So a lot of the content that you see in the keynote tonight, you'll be able to come along and get hands-on with, see that they're all real projects and play around with them. We also have two big factors of our connected game strategy, Vivox and Multiplay there, and you'll be able to see how their services can help you make a network game and be successful. Speaking of Multiplay, if you're not familiar with Multiplay, they joined the Unity family recently, and we have a quick trailer to show you exactly what they have to offer. So let's take a look at the Multiplay trailer right now.
To też ciekawe właśnie i niedługo mi się przyda, tak wam zdradzę, dlatego że w Kreatywnym Dziecku, czyli w zajęciach, które prowadzę z młodymi dzieciakami, będziemy robić grę w Unity i oni bardzo chcą, żeby to było multiplayer, także będę musiał się troszkę o sieciowej stronie Unity pouczyć i spróbuję to zrobić. Oczywiście nie będziemy tego robić, wiecie, na nie wiadomo jaką wielką skalę właśnie, żeby jakieś tutaj wykorzystanie chmury Google'a czy cokolwiek, tylko chodzi mi o taką stronę, że można będzie po prostu hostować swoje swoje serwery, tak? No tu mamy tam coś o tym tam chyba ci ludzie byli odpowiedzialni za sieciową stronę najwidoczniej, PUBG'a, tego, Rocket League'a, także spoko.
No.
Happy hours.
Incredible. So please come and talk to Multiplayer on the Unity booth. So if you like Unity and you like being happy, you can come along to our happy hours on the booth on Wednesday and Thursday. So following Will and Arista Scott's roadmap talk on Wednesday, that's at 4 p.m.
That's at 4 p.m, yep.
You can come join the happy hour, and then on Thursday we have a diversity and inclusion discussion, and you can join us for the happy hour then.
Exactly. Speaking of partners, you can also come and talk to Nintendo, Otoy, Samsung, Google, Microsoft. They're all going to be on our booth. So if you want to talk about getting your game onto their platforms, come along, chat to them and figure it all out. Speaking of partners though, Magic Leap, Liz.
Oh my goodness, yes. So
tell me about it.
So Magic Leap is on the Unity booth this week, showing off their mixed reality game, Dr. Godbot. It's been announced at GDC this week that they're bringing multiplayer to this mixed reality experience. So let's take a little look at a trailer before we speak to Mr. You.
Czy ja dobrze słyszałem? Gierka z jakąś mixed reality? Zobaczymy. A, dobra, to było przecież pokazywane na tym, na DICE Summicie. To widzieliśmy dokładnie ten sam trailer z tą rozszerzoną rzeczywistością. To nie mixed reality, tylko no, te na A. Nie wiem jakie to jest słowo na A, które jest od AR.
So we are joined here by Mr. Yu, who is actually Greg Broadmoor, the game director at Weta Workshop. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so great to meet you.
Hey
Greg,
Liz,
how you
hey
doing?
Will. Very nice to meet you, and thank you for having me.
Of course.
Pleasure. So, Dr. Godbot was released last year on Magic Leap 1, single player experience. Just tell us a little bit more about Weta and you working with Magic Leap to create this awesome.
Aha, dobra, już wszystko wiem, dobra, bo nie doleciało to do mnie. Będzie multiplayer w tego. Okej.
Famous for doing film and so on. So we're not a place known for doing games, but during our travels we met this chap Roni Abovitz, who is the CEO of Magic Leap, and he caught wind of this Dr. Broadbot's world that I was creating and asked me if we would come and make a game for him for this crazy new system he was imagining, where you basically would be able to put the virtual things in the real world, play a game literally in your own space. And for me personally, that was super exciting. So we jumped into that adventure with him straight away and made our first game, Dr. Broadbot's Invaders.
So before we get into the multiplayer, what's the single player experience like?
So the single player game, like I said, is a game that takes place in your own home. The Magic Leap device is astonishing. It can scan your house, and then we, on the game end, we examine that and we build nav meshes and we place basically robots in a whole robot world into your own home with you. And the fun part of that as well is I wanted to really bring characters to life in this, because I think this medium is amazing for storytelling. So we have Stephen Fry playing Dr. Broadbort, we have Reese Darby playing Gimbal, our AI companion, and we have Lucy Lawless featuring at the end of the game as well, who's one of our sort of characters that leads on into the future of what happens with this story.
So what happens when you take that single player experience to multiplayer? What do people see when they're interacting together?
Yeah, so even at the tail end of developing the game, we started to realize that we really wanted to explore multiplayer and have people share their experiences, because on the Magic Leap 1 you're still in the real world, you can still see everything around you, but you're having this unique experience and no one else can see it. So we wanted to solve that problem immediately.
Yeah.
So we're showing off at the Unity booth Grodd Battle, which is a very early prototype, sort of a glimpse into the potential future of what shared experiences in multiplayer can be in mixed reality and spatial computing. And in this particular experience, you basically get to customize yourself, choose a character, and then you, well, literally I'm going to say, but virtually transform yourself. You see yourself as another character.
So you're customizing your head and you can see where you're looking.
Yeah, so where you look, your character's eyes look. When you talk, your character's mouth moves.
Very cool.
It's quite a surreal, transformative experience, and so we're really excited to show people, because I think it sort of signposts something really exciting for the future of spatial computing.
So other than people can come to the booth and try this, you're going to be holding some tech talks, right, about the development behind
Yes, so Thomas Hall, one of our amazing engineers, who's actually the lead on multiplayer, he's talking about what he's done with Unity to bring multiplayer into that. And James Everett, one of our lead game designers and producer, is talking about the entire game's experience and sharing that tomorrow at VRDC.
Awesome.
That's absolutely incredible.
Greg, thanks so much for coming. I can't wait.
Ja, zajebiście, też bym to obejrzał. Też bym to obejrzał.
I just wanted to mention, this is a hard thing to talk about, but in New Zealand, just in the last few days, we had a horrible event that's stunned us all and left us feeling raw, and so it's hard to talk about, but I just wanted to direct people, anyone who cares or wants to help, there's a New Zealand website called givealittle.co.nz. You can go there and try and support the people who've been directly affected, so yeah.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
No, thank you very much, Greg. No, that's awesome.
I know that's not super fun, but I think it really matters. So yeah, please reach out and help if you can. We'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Greg. Thanks for that as well.
That's right.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
No widzicie, bo wtedy to jeszcze było tak na bieżąco.
We have an advisory panel also at GDC.
No cóż.
It's a weird segue, but here we are.
But maybe you'd like a magic leap from it, right?
That is a very good point. If you'd like to win your own Magic Leap headset and play Dr. Broadbort, then you can win that by joining up in our advisory panel during GDC week.
Yep. So the advisory panel, if you're not sure, it's a great way for the community to be able to talk to us directly here at Unity. Mm-hmm. So based on your interests, you can opt in of certain activities to give us feedback, and in return we'll give you like Unity discounts and gift cards and even donate to charity. So please, this week of GDC, if you sign up for the advisory board, you'll be in the sweepstake for a Magic Leap headset.
Yep. So go to unity.com/advisory panel to jump into that and sign up. So if you've just joined
Podejrzewam, że to już aktualne, także nie będę tego robił.
around about 6.5 minutes, something like that, and you're in the right place.
Absolutely.
The stream is right here. You're in the place. Don't go anywhere. Grab your snacks, grab your drinks, grab your pets. It's all going to be good. So we've got some exciting announcements tonight. It's stuff that you're really not going to want to miss, and it's stuff that you probably haven't seen much of before, which is actually really cool. It makes me very happy. So what kind of things can we expect?
Well, I'd like to see a little bit of something to do with the new innovations in creating augmented reality.
That's a very good point, Liz, but I've heard, this is a rumour, that augmented reality has come a long way in the last couple of years.
It is, and wouldn't it be great if we had a video of all the awesome augmented reality content that our development community
Well, surprise, we do.
Amazing.
Let's take a look at some great AR and VR games made with Unity.
To też ciekawe, z chęcią sobie popatrzę. No tylko wiecie, raczej będą takie proste gierki, nic bardzo wymyślnego. No ale coś tam jest. O, Beat Saber, no Beat Saber na Unity był zrobiony, no widzicie. Dobrze wiedzieć, nawet nie wiedziałem. Oj, Superhot był na Unity zrobiony, też nie wiedziałem. Dobrze wiedzieć o tych rzeczach.
Amazing. It's great to see all that awesome augmented reality content. So, what's going on in the keynote? We've got some industry legends here joining us. So we have Warren Spector, who's going to be doing a shocking reveal about what Other Side Entertainment are up to.
I can't help but feel that you're spoiling it a little bit, Liz.
I'm not. No spoilers here.
And we're also going to see, of course, Lorne Lanning from Oddworld talk about the latest in the world of Abe. There's a very cool... I can't really say that, can I? Okay.
No.
To ma straszny uśmiech. Nie wiem, czy ktoś jest prowadzących, tak? Czy co? Nie wiem, mi tam to jakoś nie przeszkadza nic.
About both the new demo from the Book of the Dead team and the Adam team. It's very, very pretty, and it has some artistic things in it that I can't even explain at all. Not to... I mean, there's that, I can't spoil it, but there's also a real-time ray tracing demo, which you can take a look at on our social channels as well. If you look on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, we've done a demo with BMW. It's beautiful, it's amazing, and it's real-time ray tracing inside of Unity, which is pretty cool. And
mentioned previously, our CTO Joachim is going to be here to show us the latest innovations in the data-oriented tech stack. So stay tuned, get comfortable, get a drink.
So speaking of things that are made with Unity, because I always am, the IGF and Game Developers Choice Awards are, of course, upon us, Liz.
Yes, absolutely.
And we wanted to call out just a few games that are made with Unity that are nominated for these awards that we think are extra cool. So, Liz, you were telling me about Return of the Obra Dinn, right?
Oh, my goodness. So, yes, Return of the Obra Dinn
by Lucas Pope.
Is absolutely fantastic. So you'll hear a lot of people talking about its incredible art style.
It is very unique.
It is gorgeous, but it's so much more than that. It's a really smart detective game where you're trying to find out with limited resources what happened to the crew, and I just really recommend it. Congratulations to Lucas Pope for the nominations for this.
Jestem ciekaw, czy te nagrody są publiczne. Znaczy GDC się dzisiaj skończyło, także ewentualnie to było dzisiaj, ale nic o tym nie słyszałem, czyli pewnie nie.
I drum, not very well, I would add, and so I play this on easy, but it's so much fun. It's the best experience, and it's also just come to PlayStation VR as well, right?
It's on PlayStation 4, and regardless of platform, I am terrible at it on all platforms. But congratulations to It's been confirmed.
Speaking of platforms, I've been playing a platformer in the form of Gris on the Nintendo
You were telling me about
Switch.
this.
So Gris by Nomada Studio is this beautiful, like painterly platforming exploration experience.
Skąd byście się tu wzięli? Co?
A personal journey that feels like
jakieś dziwne fetysze się dają na twarze. No i witam.
I'm annoyed that you're not playing it.
Well, it sounds like it'll make me cry, much like Florence, which is another nominee. So, Florence by Mountains.
Znaczy, te wszystkie indyki, jakie były nominowane do tych gier roku w tym roku, widzę, wszystkie projekty na Unity były zrobione. W sumie większość indyków jest zrobione na Unity, no. Mi się wydaje przynajmniej. Bo Unity jest do wszystkiego.
It's like when you see a really great like indie rom-com kind of thing and it just sort of like tugs at the heartstrings. So you've got to try it. It's out on iOS. Go and get it. Florence by Mountains.
And congratulations to all of the nominees. You're all winners to us. So
you are all winners.
Thank you.
So, of course, all of those games were made with Unity, and we're here to celebrate all of that tonight with some great new tech and also to see some of the games that are coming up. And just to remind you, number 2019 of Unity is actually ready to go. So we have 2019.1 in beta, or beta.
No właśnie, in beta. Już myślałem, że kurwa mać że już jest oficjalnie, ja nic o tym nie wiem.
And we've got a whole bunch of new stuff, exciting stuff for you to try out. So how about the editor first? Let's talk about that.
There's a lot of great editor functionality here. One of the things that I think is super useful, really exciting, is improvements to the console. So we now have a clickable stack trace, and then there's also search functionality, so you can really drill down to whatever is causing you those problems.
Yeah, so if you suck at programming like I do, you can find out where you've gone wrong. There's also Shortcut Manager, which is like, it's a godsend. It's a really obvious thing to have a shortcut manager in some software. We're a little bit behind on that one, but it's here now. It's great. You can bind anything to whatever you need to. You can find conflicts between keyboard shortcuts.
Absolutely.
And you can even share maps. So if you want to have your whole studio working on the same keyboard shortcuts, super useful.
That's really useful.
And then what else have we got? Oh,
What's the scene visibility?
Scene visibility is great. It basically allows you to group things. If you're working on a big scene with all kinds of different stuff, and you really
to by było zajebiste. Kiedyś by się to nam przydało w sumie takie grupowanie. To kurno, kiedyś to by się przydało, bo teraz już trochę zmieniliśmy projekt, jeśli chodzi o mapę i nie będzie dużej mapy, ale to było zajebiste.
Certain frames in your timeline, you now can do so. And if you want to find out more about this, we actually have a talk on the booth on Thursday at 1 p.m. That one of our evangelists, Chiro, is going to be doing. So please come and check that out.
Yeah, and there's the new input system as well.
Yes, new input system, which is also great.
That's super useful.
So
thank you to everybody who has been jumping on the beta and trying out so far. It's really great that you give us all these bug reports and help make Unity better.
Sorry, Morphy, przez przypadek misklik, przepraszam.
I'm being told that the keynote is going to start very,
nie wiem, czy to się da cofnąć. Chyba się nie da.
Make sure you've got your drink, make sure you're comfortable, make sure that you're ready to go, you're ramped up and you're excited, because there's not much time left. I'm excited.
Przepraszam, na 300 sekund, także spokojnie, zaraz będziesz mógł pisać.
Mobile, AAA, super secret thing I can't talk about, and we're ready to go in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. Have a great keynote. Let's go.
No dobra, pewnie zacznę od tego demka, od tych twórców tego Adama. Ja gdzieś widziałem tylko parę screenów z tego demka, a nie widziałem całego demka, także z chęcią zobaczę. Mam wrażenie, że bitrate jest niski. A to łudnik.
It was just
extremely buggy.
I mean, it was a mess. Like,
None of us knew what we were doing.
oh my god. It was horrible, but worth it.
Making games is a hard craft on its own.
It is probably intimidating.
It's challenging. It's really hard.
But you have this whole community that could help you out with anything.
There are a lot of other people you can draw on.
You'll have created an entire world. Even if it's a small world, you'll have created a living world that didn't exist before. And there's nothing more powerful than that.
I really want to make games that have amazing performance, that look beautiful, but making it easy to do that.
You have a ball of clay in your hands, a ball of digital clay, to make something that you really believe in.
My name is Matthew Wegner, and I'm one of the earliest users of Unity back when it was version 1.6.
My name is Alessandro Canossa.
My name is Murari Vasudevan.
Ja jestem ciekaw, jak to wyglądało Unity w wersji 1 coś tam. Aż sobie może zobaczę po konferencji.
I am Joachim Ante, and welcome to Unity.
Please welcome John Riccatello.
So welcome. And we all know making games is really, really hard. And to celebrate your hard work, let's take a look at some of the games we've seen just in the last year from the huge number of great Unity developers.
Nie znam. Nie znam. Nie znam. Też nie znam. Podejrzewam, że żadnej z tych gier nie znam, ale zobaczymy. Też nie. Czy wyglądało trochę jak Subnautica? Ale to nie jest Subnautica. No dobra, Sable widziałem, ok, jedną widziałem. Ale tak tylko gdzieś tam też... O, no dobra, Oriego oczywiście. Tego też nie grałem, ale widziałem, w sensie, no, kojarzę grę z nazwy. No to w ogóle jakieś dziwne. What the fuck, schizowe. No spoko. Tego też nie znam. Tego też. Tego też nie. To gdzieś kojarzę. Też gdzieś chyba z jakichś nagród, coś takiego.
Love that stuff. So now at Unity, we're super proud to be the digital clay of choice for millions of passionate creators and players around the world. Those here at GDC and the people in that video. And for those tuning in...
A nie wiem, Gotier, skąd to się wzięło, ale już tam jeszcze przez przypadek nie tego, co trzeba, wymutowałem. Przepraszam jeszcze raz.
Tomorrow, today. And we believe fundamentally at Unity that the world is a better place with more creators in it. This belief is at the core of everything we do at Unity. It inspires us every day. Whether you're a developer opening Unity Editor for the first time, or an artist reshaping a world with the power of real-time 3D, you inspire us to keep us making Unity better, more performant, and a more empowering platform. We absolutely love that you start here with us, and you go wherever your creativity takes you. Now, going back to our founding over 15 years ago, the core of who we are really hasn't changed. We're engineers and product people who care deeply about you, the game developer. We invest in our technology and our services and our workflows to empower your game ideas and successes today. We solve, or try to solve, hard problems so that you can focus on the content, the creativity, and the imagination it takes to bring a game to life. We're not here to make games. We have no interest in creating experiences that compete with your hobbies or your businesses. And we're here to build the Unity platform and services for you, the developer. Now, up on the wall behind me, there's a list of some of the larger developers that use Unity, and we're super proud of this crew of people. But we wouldn't be...
Czyli praktycznie każdy. No mamy co mamy, EA, nie wiem co tam jeszcze, o już uciekło. No ale były te mocne studia, Activision, Bethesda, EA.
And what a success you've had. 45% of the top 1,000 mobile games today are made by developers using Unity. That's all of you. More than a third, and people don't always know this, more than a third of all PC and console games are built in Unity. And 7 out of 10 of the top games on iOS and Android right now are made with Unity.
To szczerze, aż tyle to nie wiedziałem.
We serve the developer community in 3 ways. I'm going to talk you through all 3. I'm going to start with create. Now, first, we help you create the best product. We allow you to work efficiently across teams worldwide and with developer and artist workflows that support you through the process. Now, right now, Unity is undeniably the best development platform for mobile. But today, we have line of sight so that Unity will be the best high-end performance platform for PC and console. We're making seriously powerful advancements with the Entity Component System, the C# job system, and other technologies that make up part of our data-oriented technology stack. And because of Unity's modularity, you can use the tech you want when you need it, without being burdened to adopt new technologies before you need them. Just think, in many ways, you'll be in control and be able to use Unity to create your own game engine, to carry only the technologies you need for the game you're building. Now, we'll talk a lot more about this super powerful idea around power and flexibility throughout 2019. But with all that flexibility and power, you also have the confidence of knowing that your games are optimized for over 25 platforms. Maybe even a platform of tomorrow that you don't yet know about. Now, we're excited to be partnering with Google on their Cloud Games initiative. And
A widzicie, wtedy jeszcze nie mogli mówić, że to Stadia. Na razie go tyle.
It is absolutely spectacular. Now, the second area we do, after you create the game, you have to operate it. And we help you operate your game in the real world with services today that welcome all creators, because at Unity, our Operate tools work with Unity games and games built on other game engines. And these services have powered the operation of the two most defining moments in gaming so far in 2019. Now, some of you probably know I'm talking about Fortnite's Marshmallow concert. Millions of people talking in real time through the power of Unity's Vivox voice service. And then there's Apex Legends. Millions of users playing simultaneously through the power of Unity's multiplayer back-end hosting service. Now let's take a look at both of these a little closer and how they can help you, agnostic of what game.
Szczerze o tym nie wiedziałem, że to gdzieś tam na Unity na backendzie stoi, a... Wow.
And is the leading provider of voice and text chat and the proven go-to solution for linking hundreds of millions of players together in some of the biggest multiplayer online games ever. Products like Fortnite and PUBG and League of Legends. In fact, today it was announced that Vivox will be available inside of the Unity or the Unreal ecosystem so that you can get Vivox voice services without a separate SDK download. And then there's Multiplay, the leading online game server hosting solution. It's also a Unity service available to all developers regardless of development choice. And Multiplay has helped deliver resilient, scalable solutions for some of the industry's most battle-tested online experiences.
Ja jestem ciekaw, czy te usługi są, bo to są jakby usługi Unity, a czy one są dostępne w samym silniku? Bo jakoś o nich nie słyszałem wcześniej w ogóle. Bo to jakby, no jak rozumiem, to że to jest Unity, to jest spółka matka, tak, tych mniejszych firm.
1 million unique users in the first 8 hours. 10 million players in the first 72 hours, including 2 million concurrent players in the first weekend, and ultimately 50 million players in the first month. These are huge numbers. And the back-end service that supported this, that helped make it possible, is Unity's own Multiplay. And what do you get? You get an optimal blend of three things: a large, cost-effective infrastructure in bare metal, the ability to spin up thousands of servers in a second with the Google Cloud Platform, and an operating team at Multiplay providing the back-end operating service that most developers could only dream to realize. It's great to see Apex Legends achieving such success worldwide. But then, what is worldwide? For many of you, the biggest game market in the world can be hard to penetrate, and that's China. And here at Unity, we have deep experience and expertise in China. Two great examples. Arena of Valor, the #1 mobile game in the world, boasting over 100 million registered users, is built on Unity, as is King of Avalon, with 60 million registered players. Both massive games operating at scale, both of which are built on Unity. And today, we're announcing a new partnership that'll help you operate your games in the world's largest gaming market. Tencent and Unity. We're announcing that Tencent Cloud is Unity's connected games partner in China. With the largest gaming community base, and it's no secret that Tencent is an expert in powering the best and the brightest and the most successful in China. And I've got some great news for all of you. You can start using the Unity Tencent Cloud service this year. Not today, but later this year. So we can help you get started in ways you never could before. Now, we look forward to working closely with Tencent and bringing Unity games to the masses of passionate gamers in China. But now we've covered create and operate, I want to shift gears and talk about something that is near and dear to your heart. The third way we can show up and help you support your game in the marketplace. And this is monetize. It may be near and dear to your heart. I know it's near and dear to your wallet. Now, we all know you create games, not everyone, to make money. Some it's just a hobby. But we have the technology and services to ensure maximum player enjoyment, engagement, and monetization. We're way more than an ad network. We've created some truly innovative technologies and products that ensure that you maximize player enjoyment and engagement, and not just going exclusively for the dollars. And our tools make optimal use of data and machine learning to ensure you get the right ad served at the right time. And importantly, when it's better not to serve an ad at all, then no ad is served. Now, Unity's unified auction offers a fair and unbiased chance for all advertisers to win the bid for the ad, and kind of regardless of who they are, driving higher bids, faster ad serving, and ultimately more revenue for you. Now, we've also got technologies that allow you to mix it up a bit. Innovations like AR advertising that allow you to bring your creations into the physical world. Now, Unity helps you with the most revenue while delivering a great player experience, and this is nothing short of breathtaking. Here's an interesting thing you might not know. The ads team has done such a great job of taking all these factors into account and making Unity the third largest video ad network, behind only Google and Facebook. Our network is also engine agnostic. In fact, even our friends at Epic use the Unity network to acquire users for Fortnite. And to give you some sense of the scale, in the last month alone, we reached over 1.7 billion unique devices with Unity ads, and we served over 10.5 billion ads in virtually every month in the last 6 months. This is a massive opportunity for reach, and it will help you monetize your games at a scale that perhaps you haven't been thinking. Now, we help you create, we help you operate, and we help you monetize. Now, tonight, many folks from the Unity team, some of our brightest minds, are going to talk to you about other innovations. We're going to talk about mobile leadership, highlighting the performance that you can get with the lightweight render pipeline, the C# job system, the burst compiler, the AR foundation framework. Then we're going to talk about...
Jestem bardzo ciekaw, bo to jest C# job, bo to gdzieś tam Braka chyba pokazywał siebie i też to dobrze byłoby się nauczyć tego.
Features like the entity component system,
Siemano, nice.
Technology stack that can help you move forward. And we're going to talk about graphics, and we'll give you an extended look at our real-time ray tracing demo, which was just unveiled at NVIDIA's GTC conference a few hours ago. And we're going to unveil the newest demo for the team that created Book of the Day.
Czyli trzeba było na początku może jednak oglądać NVIDIA. No dobra, trudno, ale jak już oglądamy Unity, no to oglądamy już Unity. Trochę od tyłu, ale to nic. O, Rebellion. Muszę w to zagrać w końcu. Mam to nawet pobrane na telefonie, nawet tego nie odpaliłem. Teraz będzie o mobilnych, mnie to tak aż mobilki nie jarają, szczerze. Ale zobaczymy, co pokażą z tego lightweight pipeline.
Welcome, Chris Plummer.
No nie wiem, co sądzę o remake'u AC3, no bo jeszcze nie grałem, no nie? Tam jakieś porównania widziałem, ale no spoko, jak chcą, niech robią.
One goal in mind, singularly focused on developing the definitive first-person action experience in an original free-to-play title designed exclusively for Android and iOS gamers. Built in Unity and coming to the West, please take a first look at Call of Duty Mobile.
No proszę, mobilne Call of Duty. Komu to potrzebne? Dlaczego? Mówię, ja tu na mobilkach tak... nie chcę mi się trochę tego oglądać, ale obejrzymy, zobaczymy. Żeby nie było. Strasznie podobnie do Rainbow Siege'a tam ta scena wyglądała, ale dobra. Ja jestem ciekaw, no ja sobie na przykład na telefonie bez pada jakiegoś ewentualnie grać na telefonie, na takim małym ekranie. Znaczy to, że Wiedźmin 4 jest potwierdzony, to jest mniej więcej potwierdzone tak od czasu premiery Wiedźmina 3, no bo nie można by nie zrobić kolejnej gry dużej w świecie Wiedźmina, bo by to była taka strata pieniędzy, że tego się wyobrazić sobie nie da. A to, że to jest potwierdzone, wcale nie jest potwierdzone, to jest potwierdzone wydanie dużej gry kolejnej poza Cyberpunkiem do 2021 roku.
And signature combat mechanics from across the franchise, including Call of Duty Black Ops and Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and much more to come. All of this together for the first time in one awesome FPS experience and is built in Unity. Anywhere, anytime. From their smartphones and tablets, players can jump into visceral Call of Duty firefights. And then they can jump in and upgrade their custom loadouts with skills, perks, score streaks, and then compete to be among the very best in the world. We're delivering a deep game with a variety of ways players can compete. Today, we're excited to reveal that Call of Duty's fan-favorite multiplayer modes will feature prominently in Call of Duty Mobile. Exploring a suite of multiplayer options, you can pick from your favorite competitive modes like Team Deathmatch, Search and Destroy, and Free-for-All, and then jump into intense 5-on-5 action set in iconic Call of Duty maps like Crash, Hijacked, Nuketown, and many more. This is console-quality PvP action in the palm of your hand.
Dobra. Nie wiem, co na to poradzić, na tą kamerę. Za chwilę, poczekajcie chwilę. Więc co, zrobimy sobie pauzę, bo możemy zapauzować, to nie jest na żywo. Także dajcie chwilkę, ja zaraz tą kamerkę ogarnę. Chwilunia.
Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee?
Update sytuacyjny, wiem co się stało z kamerą. Update sytuacyjny, telefon mi się rozładował, który jest kamerką, także musicie dać mi dłuższą chwilę, bo muszę podłączyć telefon, włączyć go i tyle. Także dłuższa chwila, w takim razie zrobimy sobie oficjalną przerwę na, nie wiem, siku, picie i też ja muszę сказать, że mi się pić też nie chce. W międzyczasie ogarnę kamerkę, puszczę jakieś reklamy, także poproszę wyłączenie bloka i do zobaczenia za chwilę.
I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out.
I'm standing on the edge of a cliff. Realize there must be more to life than this. Reaching for the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Just grab my hand from heaven's end. With me tonight, I run away. We'll never forget the past, but what counts is our brand new start. Even if it hurts me or I get scared, just come take this risk now. We'll be prepared. I run away. I run away. reaching for the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Keep your secrets there, keep them everywhere. Just you and I run away.
Okej, dobra, jestem już po przerwie, także wracamy. Wybaczcie za tą kamerkę, już teraz jest podłączona do zasilania telefon, w sensie jest podłączony do ładowarki, także takich wiksów już być nie powinno, także wracamy do konferencji Unity.
Low latency and super silky and responsive controls. To fully realize Call of Duty on mobile, we sought out the best development partners using the best technology for the job. So you start with Call of Duty, the #1 selling console game franchise in the US for 10 consecutive years. And Tencent, with their incredible experience building some of the most successful mobile shooters on the entire planet. And built in Unity, this has given us the performance and the visual fidelity and also the flexibility to capture that authentic Call of Duty experience onto mobile. For Call of Duty and mobile, this is a perfect match. Now, to take a closer look at the game, help me welcome Tencent's Director of Technology, Shadow Guo.
Ach, ten familiar view.
Look at the material system. We use the physics-based rendering using Unity shader systems, which has made it really easy for us to set up our own render pipeline. All of the visible elements are fully physically based and support advanced features that you would only expect to see on game consoles, like full image-based lighting and specular occlusion using bent normal. The physics-based render pipeline is used for scene elements, and then we use Unity's light probes, which are placed procedurally, as you can see here, for dynamic global illumination. We also use reflection probes for metallic enhancements. So lighting features are so important for scene rendering. And to achieve that immersive Call of Duty look, we combine static shadow masks with dynamic cascading
podziękuję za takie rzeczy.
Combined lighting results are something you would never expect to see on a mobile device. Now let's talk about animation. So we've been able to achieve some really awesome effects in Call of Duty Mobile. We start with Unity's animator controller, which has provided excellent flexibility. Programmers and animators can get exactly what they want.
Ja pierdolę, dobra, to ja myślałem, że jakieś pojebane rzeczy czasami w tym... Boże.
As you can see from these test dummies, we've built our own custom inverse kinematic and ragdoll system. Now what's great about this is for our animators, they don't have to worry about keyframing every little keyframe. Now we can just work on the really important animations and let the procedural systems do the rest of the work. When it all comes together, it just looks awesome. Thank you, Shadow.
Widzicie, tak się robi duże gry. Tam tak to wygląda. Ja wam później pokażę, jak nie zapomnę, u mnie animatora w Dev Tycoon. O Boże, znaczy w DevLive. Wow.
Callofduty.com/mobile. We're going to be launching a public beta, so sign up to be among the first to know. I really hope you enjoyed this exclusive first look at Call of Duty Mobile, and we wish you a great GDC. Thanks.
Please welcome Steven Sullivan.
No siemano, Lordziunia, przepraszam. Mówi czasami
Welcome to Kingdoms of Heckfire, an impressive real-time strategy game by a thinking ape. They're a successful mobile game studio from Vancouver, Canada, with millions of lifetime players. Imagine if you wanted to build a game like this without their resources. Not only would you have to figure out how to make your game fun and truly unique, you'd also have to build a number of labor-intensive, boilerplate game systems. I've worked as an engineer and producer, so I know this problem all too well. In this industry, every day matters. I regret that I spent many of those days building things like inventory, currency management, virtual stores, and player progress, instead of working on the experiences I really wanted to create. Almost all these gameplay systems are common for every successful game. So if you want to make mobile games, you have to build and rebuild game system after game system, after game system, after game system, after game system. So now, my team wants to enable you to save time to focus on what matters, making your game truly unique and fun. We got this idea because we've built this before with the Unity in-app purchase plugin. We saved the headache of worrying if your transactions would work on 10 different platforms, and we removed this nightmare for thousands of developers that reach over 800 million MAU. As a result, we saved each developer days of development time. And now we want to save you weeks or months of engineering time with Game Foundation. Game Foundation gives you common components for building game systems. In the editor, you can use the UI or API directly. Instead of worrying how you're going to name things and what parameters to use from scratch, Game Foundation gives you pre-built libraries. Let's see an example. Here we're going to add an awesome dragon bundle to our game. Once you have the bundle added, you add a name, description, and then you decide which things you're going to pay out when somebody buys it. What you'll notice is the currencies that you've predefined are already wired into this system. So then all you have to do is add a payout amount for each. Next, you need to add a little magic from your art team to make sure it's a good purchase experience. And then you're ready to launch the game. So here we see the game world, and you can see your bundle show up in your store. And then the player makes a purchase. The nice thing is this system's already pre-wired together.
No fajne, jestem ciekaw jak bardzo to jest takie, wiecie, flexible pod różne rzeczy, ale no to by się przydało, znaczy ja tam lubię generalnie, lubię tworzenie takich rzeczy od podstaw, tylko no to jest trudne, bo trzeba dużo rzeczy bardzo przewidywać i dużo trzeba zmieniać i ciężko to dopracować.
What used to take 30 days or, I don't know, 43,200 minutes, now can be done in an hour or 60 minutes. Just think about what you could do with the extra 43,000 minutes. You could build something like a thinking ape did. You could focus on the unique stuff that makes your game fun and one of a kind. Game Foundation will be available as a Unity package in Q2. Thank you.
Będzie można w sumie zobaczyć, bo jestem ciekaw właśnie, no, na przykład pod takie rzeczy, nie wiem czy mi się to by przydało, bo nie wiem jak bardzo jest flexible, tak? Odpowiadając od końca, raczej się nie spodziewałbym na kanale Roman Parkour niczego, a w nowego Gwinta grałem dokładnie.
Let's take a look at two of the most exciting features coming out of preview in 2019.1. Lightweight and shader graph. Shader graph is a simple yet powerful node-based system that allows artists to author shaders visually without having to write any code. You can drag and drop nodes in real time.
To bardzo fajne jest, nie wiem czy oglądałem właśnie u Brakajsa, robienie trawy na bazie shader grafu. Bardzo fajne i też bym się tego nauczył z chęcią.
Artists are empowered to create more freely and intuitively. And one of the game-changing features that's coming in 2019.1 are nested subgraphs. So a subgraph is a visual solution for making a custom node that you define directly in shader graph. Now that subgraphs are nestable, that makes them a versatile solution for defining a custom content library for your project or studio. This gives your technical artists the ability to have non-destructive control over your entire shader pipeline, empowering your artists to work freely and safely. Lightweight Render Pipeline has been designed from the ground up to offer the most scalable solution for Unity graphics. It's available as a C# package, making the rendering code completely customizable to get the results you need to make a beautiful looking game. It's lean and optimized, so that allows for peak performance on a variety of platforms. And we now have a custom renderer system which replaces callbacks and command buffer injection, but with the ease of being set up entirely through editor UI. No code required that you can always dig in. It's amazing to have this level of control. Best of all, these are both available now and production ready with 2019.1. So let's take a look at these features in action.
Okej, no spoko. To możesz się przejść, nawet tak w sumie pod devlog to też by się popasowało. To nie jest Kotor Online, to jest The Old Republic po prostu.
Very passionate developers with decades of experience working at places like Insomniac, Activision, and Electronic Arts. Our first game, Megalith, released earlier this year on PlayStation VR. Since then, we've been looking at ways to expand our audience and even platforms beyond VR. When Unity approached us with the challenge to create a mobile demo, we jumped at the chance because of this. But we had a lot to do. We had to change engines, change platforms, and we even switched our perspective from first person to third person, and we had to do it in a very short amount of time. Luckily, using Unity's lightweight render pipeline and their powerful tools, we were able to create a demo that our team is very proud of, and I'm going to show you a slice of today.
No kurwa, pasjonujące w cholerę.
Now I'd like to introduce our studio art director, Jed Melnick, and Lucas Myers from Unity Technology to walk you through how this demo was possible. Thank you.
Jed. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jed.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So, lightweight render pipelines going out of preview with 2019.1, and you've been using it to create this game.
That's right.
Can you talk us through what you did to make this scene come to life?
Yeah, well, coming into the project, there was a lot of concern about lighting and performance. I'd worked on mobile devices before, and a lot of the times there's a lot of trickery involved, and we have to do a lot of pre-baking to get the light to really work on mobile. But with the lightweight render pipeline, it just came out of the box, working dynamically across the whole scene. You can see here that we have real-time shadows across the entire scene, and you can even see.
Are there any light maps here, or
no light?
All these shadows are there.
Yeah, it's all. This is all working. All direct light is dynamic.
What are all these red lights on the right side?
So the red lights. This is our little light show platform here. You can see.
Hello.
And it's all working using per pixel lighting across the entire environment.
What? Yeah. It's a lot of reflections on the ground. How did you make those?
So those are pre-baked cube maps that again out of the box, very easy for us to use.
The sun as well?
That's right. Yeah, the sun as well. The sun's dynamic, so you can see the per pixel specular gliding over it right there.
And these laser towers, they're just shooting real-time lights?
Yeah, so that's just using the out of the box VFX editor, and you just attach a light to one of the particle effects, and they just send it down the row.
Great. Did you have to do any special material work for this project?
Yeah, so shader graph was huge for us. We used it across the entire map. You can see this little red ring kind of booming at the base right here. That's all done in shader graph by one artist. So it just takes a day for an artist to do it, and this is a huge difference for us because back in the day, it used to be an artist and an engineer working together, and they had to kind of sync up their visions, and it took a lot of time.
Gotcha.
But now we just have an artist working on it directly, and it's exactly what they need it to be.
Chciałem się nauczyć takiego robić, tylko ja kurwa jestem upośledzony, jeśli chodzi o takie artystyczne rzeczy.
High-end mobile devices, but this is just iPhone 8. So for me, I have an 8, and it just works great.
Yeah.
So.
Did you use the shader graph?
iPhone 8 to chyba nie jest wcale taki słaby telefon, co?
So let me look around here real quick. So you can see that there's a gradient across the entire environment. So you can see the kind of
what do you mean?
Sandiness down here, and you can see kind of the more burnt orange towards the top.
Gotcha.
That's all dynamic. So you can take this rock and you can kind of move it up and down.
O kurde, zajebiste.
Space gradient in the shader by an artist. Yeah, and all very performant. The other part that's great about the shader graph is we got wind in there without a problem. You can see right here on the leaves, you can see a lot of kind of dancing around. Over here you can see more foliage. And that's all just done with shader graph by an artist. Very easy to do and very short amount of time.
Wow, that's great. I really love this example of a project that uses lightweight render pipeline and shader graph to bring these kinds of graphics to mobile. Let's take a look at another mobile game.
Thanks.
Fajne, ładne. Czy żeby to była jakaś karcianka? Bo takie mam wrażenie, no bo tu jakby karty nam się teraz pokazują, pewnie tak. Oj, Wiedźmina The nie chciał. Sorcerer Arena. No spoko.
Disney Sorcerer's Arena conjures up a world where players unleash Disney and Pixar characters onto strategic battlefields. Players build custom teams of champions and villains from a deep vault of collectible characters, each with their own unique abilities. Let's check out some gameplay. Here we are entering the final encounter of a battle, where your squad is facing off with Captain Hook. As you can see, the team really captured each character's unique style and personality. Each character was hand-drawn by our artists, and while inspired by the classic Disney art style, our game features a detailed, angular, and cel-shaded look. We've stayed up to date with Unity throughout our development. Recently, they've released features that were critical in bringing Disney Sorcerer's Arena to life. We've used Cinemachine and nested prefabs to quickly and easily build our environments. But the lightweight render pipeline was the real star for us, as it helped us reach 60 frames per second on a wide range of mobile devices, some more than 2 years old. And it wasn't just
no kurwa, no dwuletni telefon, stary w pizdu, mój na przykład. No to kurwa, nieźle. A, widzicie, technologia, kurwa. Sorry, mój jest 3-letni, no dobra, niech będzie.
And for me as an engineer, this meant less time that I needed to spend building and maintaining custom.
Mi piątka w 2015 roku wyszła.
Disney Sorcerer's Arena is currently in beta, but Franz and Lucas are going to show you how our team utilized shader graph. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okej, ja bym chciał bardzo zobaczyć, taki, wiecie, dokładnie jak ten graf wygląda, bo bym się go z chęcią nauczył, bo to fajnie to wygląda.
My favorite tool. I think that's so cool. I'm so happy we have this game here on stage. You were the visual effects editor.
Correct.
Or designer. What is it? Designer.
The artist. Yeah.
On this project. Can you take us through some of the tricks you used to make this game come together?
Sure. So let's dive into Ariel's water effects over there. So this was the cool piece of concept art that we started out with. And with this as our target, I was inspired by a few techniques that I'd read about. And shader graph was pretty instrumental in bringing this into the game.
It looks like a render.
Yeah. So let's actually look at water material. So up here on the left, you can see I have a few parameters that I can mess around with, colors to change, but these two textures do a lot of the heavy lifting.
So I see the water's rotating. Is that like a rotating mesh, or does that all come from the material?
That's all done in the shader. Yeah. So I can make it more flowy and so on.
Can we take a look at the graph?
Yes. So I'll show you a simple trick that we use to tint stuff in the game. So I sample the texture over here that you see at the bottom, and then
the one with the green and red?
Exactly. And then I take the green channel, multiply that by a color, take the red channel, do the same, and add them together, and then we can tint it to whatever colors we want in game.
That sounds really complex. Why don't you just use a water texture?
Good question. Versatility. So if we look at this quad, it has the exact same material on it. So what I'm going to do is just change the noise texture to be something a little bit more fire-like, and change the colors to be a little bit orange, maybe. And you can already start seeing the water turn into something a little bit more like a toon stylized file.
You're using the same graph for different effects.
Exactly. Actually, over here, I have a few more effects that I made using the same technique. Like, I even use it with the particle system out there.
Wow, looks cool.
Thanks.
Did you use it anywhere else?
Yeah, so I actually used this on Hades' hair. And
was he there all the time?
Yeah, he was hanging out in the background. And in game, when he gets angry, like, we change his hair to a fiery red, and he goes into a rage. Yeah.
You change it at runtime?
Yeah, all at runtime.
Hey, you've been doing this job for a very long time. How would you approach making effects like these before you had shader graph?
It was a bit more of an involved process where I'd have to work with an engineer like Kevin.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, shader graph is so flexible, and as an artist, it's really empowered me to get the creative look and vision that we really want in the game.
Wow, great. I think it looks really great. And I'm really, thanks, Franz.
Thanks so much.
It's amazing.
Fajne. Ten shader graph mi się zajebiście podoba, naprawdę. Mi się trochę wkręcił w te shadery, ale nadal, to wiecie, artystyczna wizja jest u mnie trochę słaba.
The visual control of what your material looks like, what your game looks like, is in the hands of artists like Franz and like Jen.
No fajnie, bo jakby Gwin był mobilny, grałbym.
Now we've been looking at a few mobile titles that use the lightweight render pipeline, but the lightweight render pipeline is also the thing that powers our AR and VR features. So let's take a look at some of those.
Please welcome Brittany Edmond and Dan Miller.
Dan, when they told us to make ourselves at home up here, I don't think they meant to bring your living room.
Huh. Well, might as well take advantage of it.
I guess.
It's an exciting time for augmented reality, with new features and technology being released for both handheld and wearable platforms.
And people are getting used to the idea of using their phones for more. From using them to take pictures with dinosaurs at the park, to visualizing what furniture could look like in their homes before they purchase it. We're really just starting to scratch the surface of the potential of this technology.
And at Unity, we want to give you the resources to stay on the bleeding edge of augmented reality. Today, we'll be talking about AR Foundation.
We built a framework specifically for AR creators that gives you the ability to build your application once and deploy across both ARKit and AR Core-enabled devices. We've also included additional features to help you overcome some of the other common challenges of AR development, from anchoring your digital object in the real world to the visual fidelity of those digital objects and more.
We've taken assets from the FPS sample and converted them from the HD render pipeline to the lightweight render pipeline, since we're targeting mobile devices.
And in playing with these assets, we're going to show you some of the features that you can take advantage of with AR Foundation by demonstrating how you can take assets that you've already created for your non-AR project and use them to create an AR project that looks great, runs smoothly, and is available on the 1 billion mobile devices that are AR-enabled around the world today.
And enabling AR Foundation in your editor is as easy as going to the package manager. Since we've already done that, we can go ahead and hop in. Today, I'm going to be using a feature called AR Remote, which allows me to connect an AR-enabled mobile device to the Unity editor. From here, we can start placing content in the world and building, iterating, and developing without having to compile out to the device every single time.
Dan is able to place content directly onto planes in the real world by clicking his mouse in the editor. Seeing these types of changes in real time will save you a ton of time as you're working.
I'm using something called AR Foundation Samples, which is a collection of assets and resources already put together so that you can start building in augmented reality today. Let's go ahead and replace those spheres with an instance of our Terraformer character and see what she looks like on the stage. Now, restarting the remote is as simple as hitting the play button.
And as Dan's working, you're noticing the blurriness in the camera feed in the editor. This is because we're using something called the downscale factor, which lowers the resolution of the camera. But on the flip side, it gives us a little more performance as we continue to iterate.
And our character is looking good, but she's not fully matching the lighting that we have going on stage. To solve this, we can use light estimation, which is a fundamental technology of ARKit and ARCore, but they both do it a little bit differently. Because we're using AR Foundation, we can simply enable this once and have it work across both platforms. Let's go ahead and look at what she looks like now. You can see now she's a little bit brighter because of the stage lights, and if they dim, then she gets a little bit darker too.
No, wygląda tak się mocno dosyć wyróżnia, ale spoko, fajne.
Dan has been working directly in the Unity editor because AR is just another build platform for Unity. And all of the workflows and the features and the new tech that we're building, from the lightweight render pipeline to the entity component system, all work for mobile AR.
And you can see how seamless of a process it was to take assets you've created in Unity and bring them into augmented reality. And we spiced up this demo a little bit more than just placing a character in the scene. So Brittany, why don't you go ahead and grab the iPad and show them what we made.
Absolutely. So we created a custom sequence using Timeline that allowed us to add in a couple of these extra cool moments that Dan just referenced.
And one thing I want to highlight is that Brittany is now using an ARKit-enabled iOS device. Before, we were developing on an ARCore-enabled Android device. Switching between ARKit and ARCore is as easy as switching build targets in Unity. AR Foundation does all the heavy lifting. What do we got going on upstage?
You know, I just thought it would be a nice touch if we added a couple plants from our terraformer's home planet before we welcomed her on, just to make her feel a little bit more welcome. So now, let's welcome her on.
Whoa. She's a little bit taller than I expected.
Do you want to see something cool?
Sure. Whoa, where'd she go?
Oh, she's still here. Notice that even though she's transparent, you can still tell where she is on the stage because of the way that her body warps the digital and the physical objects behind her.
Fine.
Also, I want to point out her shadow. When she's transparent, she doesn't have one. But if we bring her back, notice that not only does she have a shadow, but it's a shadow of her actual body. It's not just a blob. Unity gives us the power to make these seemingly tiny creative decisions that actually have a big impact on making our terraformer feel like she's actually in Dan's living room with us.
And I'll be perfectly honest, I don't really know how to program shaders. This effect was all created using the visual node editor available in ShaderGraph. Since we're using lightweight render pipeline and AR Foundation, we're able to easily pull in the camera feed into a node to create many cool visual effects like this and more. And whoa, those are the spaceships from Mega City rendering in AR? How many of them do you even have?
3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000.
Okay, Brittany, I think we get the idea.
The idea I really want to land here is that the reason why we're able to get so many spaceships working in AR is because we're taking advantage of the data-oriented tech stack, which also allows us to really take advantage of the hardware that we're using.
That's pretty impressive. Over 7,000 unique entities, all rendering in AR at a solid 60 frames a second. I think you can tell that with the power of Unity and AR Foundation, you can build some really cool
stuff.
Bardzo fajne. Full Release w 2019-2. Też, kurde, no ja w ogóle te technologie dzisiejsze są takie zajebiste, wszystkiego by się człowiek nauczył, ale trzeba wybrać specjalizację. I kurwa, wybranie specjalizacji jest trudne. Bo i te AI jest fajne, i takie AR, w sumie AI trochę używa RR, takie, że jakieś tam interakcje mają być tutaj AI ze środowiskiem. Ale i tak, zajebiste, fajne.
We've been building amazing features to help you take advantage of advancements in mobile hardware. But we also understand that you want to maximize your player base, which means a broad range of device support and games that can scale from the low end to the high end. Unlike PC or console, building for mobile platforms requires a delicate balance. I was a game developer myself in a past life, so I get that one of the biggest challenges you face is building games that look beautiful and run smoothly, but that don't overtax the hardware. Now, this is what happens to your frame rate when your device is throttled. It's super painful to deal with and really frustrating. Today, there's a couple ways we can handle this problem. On the one hand, you can focus on just a small subset of devices at the high end. The problem with that, though, is that it really limits your audience. Instead, what most developers end up doing is pulling back on their game design, sacrificing graphics fidelity, lowering your target frame rate, reducing the scope of your game so they can still run well on low-end devices. We don't want you to have to sacrifice. We want to give you the control, not the hardware. Through thermal management, you can build games that run smoothly with sustained performance over longer periods of time. We've built adaptive performance, a new feature giving you unprecedented data about device thermal trends, including information about whether your game is CPU or GPU bound at runtime. The data this feature provides will enable you to adjust your game dynamically and proactively to best utilize the hardware. The result is decreased thermal buildup and a more predictable frame rate, enabling a much better player experience. And we tried this out with Megacity, the massive streaming world project you may have
Nie, w tego mikrotransakcji nie ma i nie będzie. Ja nie planuję do żadnej mojej gry dodawać mikrotransakcji, bo jestem przeciwko czemuś takiemu. I się ma na chory.
With scalability in mind, this was the ideal testbed for our new performance feature. By starting at lower CPU and GPU levels, increasing them gradually to eliminate our bottlenecks, we're able to keep energy consumption low. If we detect we're getting near a throttling state, we can adjust the game right there to stabilize the temperature. In our case, we chose to lower the level of detail. As you can see, the results are impressive, giving you the power to stabilize your frame rate over extended time. This sample was measured over 20 minutes, which is already impressive. But check this out. We started at Megacity and left it running overnight, came back in the morning, and it was still humming along, right at its target frame rate. It was amazing.
No fajnie, fajnie.
By keeping a closer eye on
Jestem ciekaw, czy tak jest typowo pod mobilki, czy to będzie też jakby dostępne dla PC-ów i tak dalej, bo to też by się na PC-ach czasami przydało jednak. Ten dynamic scaling, jak na przykład w Assassinach jest teraz, tylko z anti-aliasingiem chyba.
We're working with the world's largest Android device manufacturer to make this happen first on some of the most popular devices. Our partnership with Samsung will enable you to use adaptive performance on Galaxy devices like the new flagship Galaxy S10 and Galaxy Fold, and coming soon to many existing Samsung devices already in players' hands around the world. And this is just the beginning. We're going to continue to invest in adaptive performance, adding new features and rolling it out to even more devices this year and beyond. Thank you.
No mówię, fajnie jakby to w sumie było na PC-ty też, bo jednak na PC-tach czasami throttlowanie też jest problemem, to jakby to udało się tak przezwyciężyć właśnie, zmieniając na przykład level of detail albo dynamics resolution, fajnie było.
I'm Warren Spector, I'm the creative director on System Shock 3. In case you haven't guessed by now, I'm here to announce that the Other Side Austin team is building System Shock 3 with Unity. System Shock games, from a narrative standpoint, are set in a world that's part cyberpunk, a little bit space opera. But more important to me is that from a gameplay standpoint, we call them immersive simulations. What that means is we merge a variety of genres, which drives marketing guys crazy, which I love. Anyway, System Shock is part first-person shooter, part role-playing game, and part survival horror game. But most important about immersive simulations is the idea that they empower players to create their own stories, to craft their own unique experiences. In System Shock 3, we want players to feel alone in a strange and dangerous place, a station on the outskirts of our solar system. It's a world that was once alive with activity, but is now controlled by a rogue AI named Showdown. Living on this station, or unliving on this station, are only robots, mutants, and the dead. Now, with that in mind, with that description having been said, you can probably expect that there are some key things that we're trying to achieve. Fear, feeling of horror, feeling of dread. We've got a bunch of gameplay systems in mind that we're absolutely not going to talk about today. But from a visual standpoint, we needed a setting that was kind of a noir-like, dominated by deep, dark, problematic, disturbing shadows, and punctuated by areas of intense, focused light. But that's about all I can say right now. In a minute, we're going to have Elizabeth Legros and Lucas come back out here and tell you how we achieved that look. But for now, let's take the first ever sneak peek at System Shock 3 in its current pre-alpha state.
No spoko. Z chęcią zobaczę. A, to już wiem skąd ta scena była jedna w tym trailerze chyba, mam wrażenie, Google'a. Ten taki korytarz tam, co był przed chwilą. Fajnie, zajebiście to wygląda.
Where to hide? I see everything you do.
Ładnie wygląda, no fajny ten look, podoba mi się. Jestem ciekaw, jak to właśnie zostało zrobione. Nie, Overwatcha na pewno nie. Na pewno nie zamierzam nagrać.
All right. We are going to switch gears away from mobile onto desktop and away from the lightweight render pipeline onto our high definition render pipeline. Elizabeth, you were the graphics programmer on System Shock, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Show us some of your favorite shots.
Well, so I really love this shot here. And you can see in this shot we have Steve in one of our vacuum-sealed body bags. Pretty gnarly scene. But one thing
Dlaczego transwestyta, kurwa, no niepoprawność polityczna już weszła? To baba czy to chłop? Kurwa, kto mi to powie, czy to jest baba, czy to jest chłop? Halo. Wytyfy.
So, for instance, on this body bag here, you'll see we're getting this awesome specular.
Na razie, nice.
And if I take this light here and I actually move it down, you'll see we're even getting the subsurface through that vacuum bag along the arm.
Is that like a custom shader you had to do?
No, so that's the built-in HDRP materials HD lit shader.
Can we mess around with that a little bit?
Yeah, so I can remove the base map here. Oh, I can make this a little bit more red. I can turn down the alpha. All of it's just working dynamically.
I love that shot. I love that shot. What else you got?
So because we're using HDRP and the unified lighting model, we also get volumetric lights, which are super cool and kind of...
Is that the same Steve?
Yes, that is the same Steve.
Having a bad day. Oh.
And one thing that's really great about this is as I turn up this light here, you'll notice we're getting brighter volumetrics as well as getting an increased subsurface response here along the feet.
The volumetrics, that's like the sort of dust in the air, right, in front of the light?
Right.
And then you also see like his feet light up.
Right, yeah.
So that's the unified part, that all these sort of lighting features work together?
Right, so what's really cool about that is we didn't have to create a special kind of edge case light here that's doing kind of a fake effect, or have to kind of tweak the shader here for Steve to make it respond better. It all just worked kind of out of the bag.
Hey, before the show, we were talking about decals and how you use them extensively.
Yeah.
Can you show us those?
So we use decals in a number of different ways. Just to kind of highlight how much they're doing here, let me go ahead and turn them off and on. So you can see they're doing a lot.
Gotcha.
So we're using projection decals kind of for the splashes of color, like the blood here, as well as the yellow stripes here. And then we're using mesh decals to really add a lot of detail to the scene.
What's going on with that decal on the right there, where it like changes how the light hits the floor?
Right. So one of the great things about deferred decals is we can really change the underlying geometry. So right there, we're changing the metalness of the floor here. We're changing the normals, diffuse, and just really kind of bringing out a lot of added detail that we normally couldn't do.
Gotcha. Hey, we've seen both Franz and Jed use ShaderGraph for some custom material work on their lightweight render pipeline games. Has ShaderGraph been any help on this HDRP title?
Yeah, so in that scene you might have seen, we were actually using ShaderGraph here to kind of animate these vertex positions.
To jest właśnie zajebiste, że teraz można shaderów do robienia takich pojebanych rzeczy. Wiecie, Świetne to jest po prostu.
Right. So I can modify this around a little bit. I can change the speed here. And I can really just kind of start to fiddle around with this.
What does the graph look like for a shader like that?
Like this.
Oh.
Bardzo prosty. Bardzo prosty.
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of use out of that.
Wow, I think it looks really great, and I think this is great to have an example like this of the kind of graphics quality that a HDRP pipeline can bring to your title. So thanks a lot, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much.
Dobra, czyli jakby kobita. No to wyszło, że kobita, bo Elizabeth. Okej.
Please welcome Lauren Lanning.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here today. And we're showing a glimpse of Oddworld Soulstorm. It's a brand new game in the Oddworld series. And in Soulstorm, we wanted to break new ground. Big visual and cinematic leaps were important to us. And so as a storyteller, I need to stay focused on the things that bring that narrative to life. And in this case, this is where Unity's breadth of real-time lighting and technologies and the amazing teams working with us around the world are making this possible. So today, we're showing you a sneak peek of a cinematic from the game that demonstrates some of Unity's latest rendering techniques. Then, when that's done, Benny Terry, executive producing partner on the project, is going to show you how Unity has elevated the graphical quality of Oddworld Soulstorm. Thank you.
Powiem tak, jakoś to super tak ekstra nie wygląda, ale i tak mi się bardzo podoba to, że teraz Unity właśnie idzie w możliwości tworzenia gier, które wyglądają realistycznie, bo wcześniej Unity trochę kojarzyło się z takimi grami, które nie wyglądają aż tak dobrze jak na przykład gry na Unrealu czy na CryEngine. Przynajmniej takie jakby domyślne, bo dało się tam robić oczywiście ładnie wyglądające gry, ale to wymagało dużo czasu, dużo umiejętności, a teraz mam wrażenie, że to trochę zostało ułatwione właśnie przez jakieś tutaj dodatkowe feature, typu ten shader graph i tak dalej. I też te właśnie jakby tekstury nakładane na powierzchnię, nie pamiętam jak to się nazywa, ale mówili o tym, co wyłączali, pokazywali, to było fajne. To jest też bardzo fajne, to bardzo można fajnie wykorzystać. Jak mówię, ten trailer taki średniawy bym powiedział, ale nie wygląda źle. No nie jest to na przykład poziom tego, Boże, jak się nazywa silnik od EA. Frostbite'a, ale i tak całkiem fajnie.
Hello everyone, it's an honor to be here with you today. Building our cinematics is a global endeavor. Through Unity, our teams of talented creatives and engineers are collaborating in real time. When you are as distributed in Unity as we are, the tools are a critical component in how we produce economy CG. Unity provides a sandbox of powerful cinematic tools to choreograph the narrative and polish our visuals, called timeline and post-process stack. In our scene breakdown, the process starts simple, but very quickly grows in complexity. In-engine parallel workflow is the key to reducing production costs and increasing the quality of CG that we produce. Instead of waiting hours to render, our iteration speed from review to direct and approval happens in real time. For Oddworld, the richness in our visuals and imagery is very important to us as creatives. When we started Soulstorm 3 years ago, the team focused on how far we could elevate that bar. Utilizing the built-in renderer, which is still used in many components of our production today, our characters like the shaman have significant...
To też masz rację, Morphy. Też prawda, właśnie, że przez takie niestety gry ze Steama, z gotowych asetów, z Asset Store'a niestety zbyt dobrze o tym silniki nie świadczyły. Ale to też właśnie te Asset Store to jest świetna rzecz, z której można świetne rzeczy robić, nie napracowując się, ale no niestety ludzie to źle wykorzystują.
High-definition rendering pipeline in Unity 2019 is a huge leap in graphical realism and ease of use. In our split-screen tests, the differences are immediately apparent. The shaman doesn't feel so flat and washed out. The way light behaves while interacting with the shaman's skin and features is more physically accurate. We're able to color grade the image in-engine and in real time, which gives our visual a more cinematic, right-out-of-the-box look. But light doesn't just touch the surface, it goes deeper, right? Scattering before it returns back to your eye. HDRP plus subsurface scattering was the solution that we gave for the shaman to give that rich Oddworld style. We explored these opportunities to make our characters feel like they were a part of you. The work that Unity has done to mature its rendering technology is outstanding. Please follow us at oddworld.com. Thank you so much.
Okej. No spoko.
We are very hard at work.
O tym bardzo chcę potem.
Oriented technology stack. It consists of the C# job system that we shipped last year, the burst compiler, and the entity component system. Now, the most unconventional piece of that stack is definitely the burst compiler, because it takes C# code and turns it into assembly code. Now, you wouldn't quite think that C# would be the most obvious choice to write the low-level parts of your game engine in. But what makes burst work is that we don't use all of the features of C#. We take out things like the garbage collector, like reflection, and we don't allow any virtual calls in your job code. And what burst does is it takes programs written in that subset of C# and turns it into highly optimized assembly code. Take a look here. This is an image of the burst inspector. I love everything about this image. I do. I love the burst inspector. Here on the left is a
No ja assemblera nie ogarniam w ogóle, ale no cóż. I coś właśnie odpiąłem, tylko nie do końca wiem co. Odpiąłem sobie właśnie LEDy na biurku.
If calling is not fast, we could all go home. It has to be fast. And here on the right side, you see the machine instructions that the burst compiler generated, interleaved with the original C# code, the source code of that job. So if you're the kind of developer that really wants to get down to the metal and really understand exactly what is going on, you want to understand what the compiler does, why it does it, and you want to verify if it did a good job, no pun intended, you can take a look here and you can see that it actually did do a good job. These specific machine instructions, they're vectorized. So they operate on 4 calling planes at the same time. The burst compiler is going out of preview with Unity 2019.1, and we have a burst 1.0 release candidate available for you today.
No spoko, ale to już trzeba naprawdę być ogarniętym z programowania i to na zajebiście niskim poziomie.
Go download it. I see a few people hanging onto their seats. We're going to have the person who started this whole data-oriented tech stack initiative at Unity. We're going to have him take it for a spin. Here we go.
What is your name, and what is your relationship to the founding of Unity?
Well, my name is Joachim, and I founded it together with 2 other guys. I knew I wanted to make computer games. I didn't really pay that much attention to high school. I mean, that was not what my parents wanted from me, for sure. Back in the day, most game engines were just sort of like a bunch of source code that you had to compile and then you could make a game out of it. There wasn't really that many good options back then. We basically said, okay, we want to eventually ship a game engine, a tool with which you can make computer games. The reason we wanted to do that is because it felt like what we had actually built to make these types of games was actually really flexible and really easy to use, and we just wanted to make something that's really affordable so that, you know, like for people that were like us. We built Unity on that collaboration with those customers. Making a game is hard. it's hard work. I really want to see this transition to making Unity the absolute most performant engine and enabling people to make games that have amazing performance, that look beautiful, but making it easy to do that. The dream version of Unity is that we stick to our values. It's just about being there for our community. That we always listen to what they need and then build exactly that.
Do you think you will work on Unity for the rest of your life?
I think so. I just really love making game engines. I'm having just a blast these days actually just doing that. So I don't see why not.
No i fajna historyjka. No i to jest bardzo fajny w Unity właśnie. No jeżeli teraz oni lecą właśnie w takie, wiecie, możliwości, że o, tu header, tutaj niski ten pipeline i tak dalej, no to wiecie, no fajnie, to jest po prostu zajebiste.
Thank you. A couple months ago at Unite, we showed the Megacity demo. And it's been really important for us to stress test the data-oriented tech stack, proving that we can stream, simulate, and render massive amounts of content in a dynamic world. Let's check it out.
Oczywiście to, co jest w każdej grze zrobione na Unity, nie ma większości buildów dźwięku. Myśmy dodali dźwięk do DevLive'u czy tam DevLive bardzo późno.
So today, we're releasing the Megacity project. Let's see what is included. I'm going to go to an editor demo. So I'm just going to open up the Megacity scene here so we can check it out. And in this scene, we have 4.5 million renderers. And they're all getting loaded in the background in the editor. And that's, of course, important because we love great runtime performance. But it's equally important that workflows are efficient when you're working particularly in such big scenes. Check out all of this detail here that we have just hanging around everywhere in the megacity. And all of these buildings, every single one, is made of around 200,000 separate entities. You can really see how crazy that looks when just flying up these buildings, because that detail is just not on the level of the camera, it's just everywhere. Now, when I click on that building, I can select it, and I can just click on Edit here. When I do that, I can use the subscene feature to get back to a very familiar object representation. Here we have our game objects. I can move them around. I have my transform component, my lot groups, my mono behavior. I can move them around and change whatever I like. And I can do that in the context of the whole world. And then I can select some of these shacks. And the megacity, the building block of it, is really these nested prefabs. You can see here this prefab of these shacks. It is made out of further smaller pieces and different variants put together. And that was really important for us to actually be able to build this kind of scene with this massive amount of content, because we had 2 artists working on it for just a couple of weeks.
Wow. Po prostu wow, że oni to naprawdę tak szybko zrobili. We dwóch, kurwa! O Boże, jak ja mało umiem w te robienie gier, masakra.
We are saving the scene to disk, the game objects, but we're also saving the entity optimized representation. And we can actually load and unload the different parts, these different sections. So here you can see the low resolution detail with just a couple of renderers just representing the shell of the building. But then when I load the rest of the scene in, I can do that for streaming, just getting more detail when I'm close up, and in the distance you have the shell. but look at how fast that loads. That is the power of a runtime-ready data format. Now, everything that you have just seen, including the content, the game code, and the tools, is available today.
No, może aż bym sobie ogarnął, to fajne jest. Możesz czegoś nauczyć fajnego.
So with the data-oriented tech stack, we want to empower you to create the most rich, interactive, and dynamic worlds. And to do that, you need physics. So we decided to partner with a company that has defined the gold standard in physics simulation for games. And for the last couple of months, we had an amazing collaboration with the Havoc team. And so I'd like to welcome Oliver Strunk from Havoc on stage.
No właśnie, coś tam było. Właśnie też gdzieś słyszałem, że Havoc będzie współpracował teraz z Unity.
We in Havoc always have been impressed by the creativity of the Unity games. And we are excited to show how Unity and Havoc have worked together to push physics to the next level.
And there is a couple things that we wanted to achieve together. We want to give control of the physics simulation back to the developer. Something that is fast, easy to understand, and easy to modify.
Actually, we went through a very similar experience in Havoc. Our first engine used an object-oriented approach. But after years of painful iterations, we ended up with a data-centric approach. Very similar to DOTS. And our users loved it. They found that removing those extra abstractions made it easier to understand, and that gave them the control they needed. And in our collaboration with Unity, we were able to take that experience and create a data protocol in C#, which describes physics in a clean and simple way.
And we want Unity to become the best game engine for creating network games. And in our experience, physics is often what makes or breaks a network game. So we worked with the Havoc team on designing physics specifically for networking.
Yeah, network games are already quite complex. So the key here is reducing complexity. With that design goal in mind, we created something which is lightweight, doesn't require internal caches, and is easy to understand.
And we call that Unity Physics. It is written completely in C# using the Burst compiler and C# jobs. So specifically for performance, how did that actually work out for you?
I mean, we in Havoc are obsessed by performance. And using the Burst compiler was actually a great experience. It was easy to use, we didn't have to write platform-specific code, and multithreading just worked out of the box. And we did a very detailed analysis of the Burst compiler output, and we were surprised to find that it actually matches hand-optimized assembly. And this is super important because it allows us to write high-performance code in the same language as the game logic. And for me personally, that this is possible is just absolutely amazing, just incredible.
Now, Unity games use physics for all kinds of different purposes. And so in some cases, a lightweight and stateless physics engine is not the right fit. But fortunately, for the last 20 years, the Havoc team has built and fine-tuned a sophisticated physics engine, and its performance and quality powers the most ambitious AAA games. So we also want to offer that full power of Havoc physics inside of Unity.
And the data-centric approach was key to making this possible. It made it trivial to integrate Havoc physics. So, with a simple switch, you can go from Unity physics simulation to Havoc engine. And because the data protocol is the same, your user content can stay the same, even your scripting logic. So we talked a lot, so now check out the new Unity physics written in C# in actually a live demo. So Joachim, please. So what every physics engine needs is collision primitives. So we started with spheres, boxes, and capsules. Capsules are needed for ragdolls. But from the very start, we also wanted to include convex meshes. Convex meshes are important because it allows the artist to take a graphical mesh and just throw it into the physics engine without authoring specialized physics proxies. And every physics engine also needs physics materials. So we have this kind of iron object which has a very low friction. So you see Joachim kind of slides that heavy iron object over the floor like it would be ice. Another physics material property is bounciness. So we created those tires and they happily bounce around in a scene. So Joachim, stop having fun. You have to move to the next scene.
All right. Okay, so the next section here, we have this hoverboard. And this hoverboard is really driven by a bunch of game code. And you can see, when I pick it up here, underneath it, there's a bunch of queries. There's these raycasts. And they are what makes that hoverboard actually hover above the ground. And so it's super important in a physics engine to have really efficient queries and shapecasts and so on. And the Havoc team spent a lot of time optimizing that code to be really, really fast.
And then another set of features in a physics engine we call constraints. Constraints are holding two rigid bodies together. In this case, we created a row bridge out of hinge constraint. So you see it actually behaves quite naturally. And those constraints are used for a number of reasons. You can build platforms, you can build machines, they actually use it for ragdolls, or even simple vehicles. So the next feature is also interesting. We call it trigger volumes. The shiny cylinder is actually a rigid body, but instead of colliding, it changes the material property of the object, in this case the gravity. So we have this kind of slider which allows us to control the gravity from positive to be negative. And because we're throwing as robots up and down, they're getting dirty. So if they get dirty, we need to wash them. So we have this kind of nice little washing machine. Actually what it is, we call it robot testing facility, because we can stress test our physics engine. So you see all kind of features here coming together. We have constraint system, we have spheres, we have balls, different materials, even a rotating mesh. And that allows us to see the stuff scalable or the behavior.
No nieźle. I że to jeszcze działa w ogóle przy tylu już modelach, fizyka, no zajebiste.
It's just actually a lot of fun playing with this stuff. So it's really amazing seeing all of this come together. And this is all written with the C# Unity physics engine. And the best part is this Unity physics engine is available as a preview package today.
No okej, no spoko. Ja za bardzo fizyki nie potrzebuję do siebie, także niezbyt mnie to tak, nie będzie takie dla mnie użyteczne, ale no spoko. Fajnie, fajnie.
And together, this is a complete physics solution for creating rich and interactive worlds for dots. Thank you.
No fajnie, fajnie. Ja muszę ogarnąć te C# jobs, bo wydaje mi się, że to może być całkiem dobre i dobrze by się było tego nauczyć, żeby pisać bardziej ten zoptymalizowany kod.
In the past few years at Unity, we've focused a lot of investment in graphics, resulting in exponential leap forward in rendering quality. And we're just starting to build momentum. We're future-proofing our technology through a combination of partners, talent, and innovation. We work closely with partners to bring you the best and latest workflows, like Substance, a tool uniformly loved by artists that today is available in beta on the Asset Store and that is coming out of beta in spring. Substance and Unity will support HD and lightweight scriptable render pipelines with simple, intuitive workflows for both of the pipelines as well as the shader graph. And you'll be able to easily live edit substance material parameters for real-time texture updates, whether you are in the editor or at runtime for quick artist workflows. And many thanks to the Substance team for all of their hard work on this. This is what a lot of artists have been craving to get. At Unity, we also invest in people. This includes hiring the best to help you achieve your aspirations. The Unity graphics team is full of world-class talent, and I'm lucky to work with them on the architecture of our workflows and rendering pipelines. But today, I'm happy to welcome Graphene to the Unity family. Graphene pioneers of virtual texturing and efficient texture streaming. And with ever-increasing device resolution and complexity of scenes that is rising steeply, we need higher density textures, and more of them, more than ever now. And Graphene will help us boost our architecture and provide best-in-class artist workflows for comprehensive virtual texture streaming. Welcome, Graphene. Much of graphics innovation comes from our extensible and configurable scriptable render pipeline architecture, as well as our artist workflows. We want to make sure to give you the right tools for the right job. Last year, we harnessed the power of real-time ray tracing for accelerating lighting workflows through a real-time path tracer to bake lighting with our GPU progressive light mapper, which is now available in preview. But this is just the beginning of our real-time ray tracing journey. We needed to make amazing, offline quality professional graphics accessible to all of our users in real-time frame rates so that they could take full advantage of the ray tracing technology. And with real-time ray tracing, interactive graphics reaches new levels of realism, which allows for truly dynamic global rendering effects, possible at realistic game-level fast frame rates. Let's take a look at what our real-time ray tracing technology can accomplish.
No, to wcześniej mówiłem, że Unity bardzo poszło w wyglądanie, tak? Wygląd właśnie, w umożliwienie tworzenia ładniejszych gier w Unity.
Don't swim in the same slough. Invent yourself and then reinvent yourself. And stay out of the clutches of mediocrity. Invent yourself, and then reinvent yourself. Change your tone and shape so often that they can never categorize you. Reinvigorate yourself and accept what is, but only on the terms that you have invented. Be self-taught. And reinvent your life because you must. It is your life, and its history and the present belong only to you.
I'd say this looks pretty sweet. This was a huge accomplishment done in partnership with NVIDIA, BMW, Light and Shadows, and many groups at Unity. Truly, this was an effort where we were in it.
To jest najlepsze, bo wiecie, no my możemy, wiecie, potem używamy gotowych narzędzi z UI, ze wszystkim, a jak ludzie po prostu, wiecie, jak oni muszą mocno moim zdaniem przerabiać, wiecie, ten silnik musi być naprawdę dobrze napisany, skoro on jest tak bardzo podatny na tak duże zmiany, na tak duże modyfikacje. To jest niesamowite.
Our CG vehicle. What's the big deal? Car commercials these days, pretty much everybody renders stuff in CG. Yes, but they take a couple of hours per frame to do that. This CG car in the video is rendered in Unity in 4K at interactive frame rates using the power of real-time ray tracing in HDRP on NVIDIA RTX GPU. And in several of the shots, the CG car is seamlessly transitioned to the live film car. Do you know which one is real? It's pretty hard to tell, and that's exactly the point. I'll tell you a funny story. So we were working on a demo, and we were providing feedback on the shots to keep improving. I put together a set of notes on a particular shot, and Danny, one of the artists on the team who was working on the demo, very gently pointed out that that specific shot was in fact film. Well, there's not much we're going to change about that. In many of the shots, the CG objects are flawlessly integrated in the complex real-world scenes with objects, people, lighting, environment. Now, we want to take a deeper look under the hood at what's happening in this VFX sequence. And to do that, I'm going to invite Natalie Burke, lead technical artist, to help me.
Hey, everyone.
In the high-definition render pipeline, we are already performing physically accurate computations for lighting and shadowing. But in the rasterization world, we operate on small, local parts of the scene. These are clever approximations, the screen space approaches, that run fast on console hardware. But a trained eye can easily spot when the techniques break down, when they don't match reality. And if you don't see the object in the frame, you won't see the results of that object, the reflections, on the screen.
Yeah, where are the wheels?
SSR. To get good-looking results with rasterization technique, you often have to do very complicated shot-specific setup. And making these work reliably across camera changes, dynamic worlds, is really hard. With ray tracing, however, it operates on the whole scene. We do lighting and shadowing globally for far more accurate rendering. Do you see the wheel reflections now, Nat?
Yeah, I do. And you can see when I toggle this button on and off that the reflections are much more clear when we're using ray tracing.
And that's precisely the point. Of course, this means you might need to consider it in your game or in your production, but now everything is present. The content is easy to set up. It just works. And it's far
Nie, tak. Nie możesz używać tego słowa. To może tylko Jensen Huang. It just works.
Or full scene lighting bounce. And it doesn't matter if something is or is not visible in the frame.
No tylko coś tu się wiksi. Te napisy gdzieś coś tu nie pykło chyba.
We give you ability with our solution to render primary rays, either with rasterization for best performance or ray tracing for highest quality, like with a full path tracer. And with that, you can get proper refractions for multi-layer transparent materials. You can kind of see some of this here. Or dynamic shadows that are globally accounting for the whole environment. Or really robust occlusion. We're now in a global space where it's all there. And you also get the full gamut of HD materials to play with. Opaque, transparent, alpha-tested, double-sided, with full shader graph support, so the artists are free to create more. And of course, dynamic real-time global illumination is a key part of delivering a fully ray tracing ready solution. Let's look at the lighting. Now, our ray tracing tech is built on top of HDRP in C# scripts and shaders, which is quick to reload and iterate. In fact, it took us about a day to build our global ambient occlusion solution. It was that easy. We provide a wide variety of ray trace effects for you to play with. But if you wanted to create your own with a hybrid HDRP, you get the full access to all of the runtime resources, and you can choose between rasterization or ray tracing at any time, object, camera, material, as you wish. You are in a driver's seat.
Nice.
You get great shadows from all of the objects in the scene, from these huge textured area lights like the screen that you see here. This is something that is tremendously difficult to do with rasterization, despite all the research that's happening in this domain. Oh, and this is running at game rates on a single consumer NVIDIA GPU, pushing ray tracing at about 30 million polygon scene.
No nieźle na Razerku takim. Nice.
And occlusion and shadows and textures and so forth on a mobile form factor. As you can see, real-time ray tracing is pretty damn exciting, but it needs to be done right. And what I mean by that is this. High-fidelity content is really the biggest bottleneck for graphics today. Creating it is hard. It's time-consuming. With our ray tracing solution, we want to empower artists to create content once and use it both for raster and ray tracing for a truly scalable solution. And this is actually easy using the shader graph technology because ray tracing becomes an LOD. And when we're on a rasterization, we use the regular shader, and on ray tracing, we use that. Best quality at best performance, automatically. And because our solution is built on a hybrid rendering pipeline, this doesn't require any edge cases to special case. It's easy. Best of all, we're delivering production-focused ray tracing with a full preview coming in HDRP in fall 2019. This will include an early preview of a full-frame path tracer.
No proszę, 4 kwietnia mamy eksperymentalną wersję.
HDRP build on GitHub on April 4th. Experiment away.
Widzicie? Ja aż sobie może pobiorę, tylko no nie mam właśnie karty żadnej, żeby to potestować, ale fajnie, że to Unity wprowadza ten RT. W ogóle to demko, no było przepiękne. Chciałbym, kurwa, umieć coś takiego robić, no ale niestety.
Unity's demo team for several years. We are usually here to tell you all about the different ways in which we have improved and customized and extended various graphics features of Unity, all in the pursuit of making them better. But this time, our production feels very different from before. It now feels that Unity is already giving us a solid foundation that we can comfortably rely on, and that made us confident enough to take upon some new challenges and some more unconventional subject matter. We have had our graphics programmers unleash their imagination and work on creating essential elements of our storytelling. It feels more and more like we can afford to experiment and to try new things. With Unity's high-definition render pipeline and the new generation of post effects, we now have a fully featured production-ready working environment. And we don't have to worry about visual quality because it just comes out of the box. Artists don't even need to have a deep understanding of what exactly is happening under the hood. But there's a lot going on that contributes to the visuals being what they are. And Natasha will be back to break it down for you afterwards. But for now, let me give you a glimpse into the new story that we're working on. This build was just made an hour ago, and I hope it works. Bear with me, because it will play in real time. Thank you.
This is the play. No proszę, no to jeszcze lecą, kurczę. Od razu, od początku, testowanie. No dobra, zobaczymy. Pamiętajcie, to wszystko jest w czasie rzeczywistym.
Yeah, got it. Okay, here we go. So who exactly is this guy? You're kidding. They're a fairy tale, Boston. Don't be an idiot. I see it.
Pomyślcie, że kiedyś to my będziemy iść tą postacią. Ja pierdolę, jakie to jest zajebiste. Kurwa mać. I takie rzeczy da się w Unity. Najbardziej to mnie rozpierdala, że takie coś da się zrobić w Unity, kurwa.
This makes no sense to me, Boston. But you might happen to be right.
Brak mi słów po prostu. Ja pierdolę. No przecież to...
I gotta be honest with you, I get chills watching this, especially here. Now, Sylvia just said this was hot off the presses. She wasn't lying. So we're gonna try something a little nuts. I'll tell you, I'm a little antsy about it. Since the demo just finished, we're gonna try to go and break it down and look what's happening under the hood in the editor. A little. So, what I deeply love about Unity's demo team, truly, is that they're always pushing the frontiers of real-time graphics for the industry at large, not just about what's happening with graphics at Unity. And in fact, some of you who know me well know that one of the reasons I joined Unity is for the chance to work together with a creative team that is our demo team. Now, sometimes I'm always awed by their vision, but sometimes they come to me and discuss where they want to push their ambition, and I blanch. Because I'm like, really? That seems intense. They tell me what they want to push, and together we work, we push the graphics.
Jak jeszcze jesteś, to nie idę nic tam z sobą robić, bo... a później film idę montować.
Together as a true production. This was a perfect example of that. So for me, it was tremendously exciting to hear that they're finally feeling free to focus on all the special cases, the magic for their creative vision. And letting creators do their thing truly is what I came to Unity for. Now, the Heretic is not only packed to the brim with a ton of graphics features from HD and many bespoke effects, it's a visually gripping experience that is actually running steady 30 FPS on a consumer-grade, off-the-shelf gamer PC. And that's possible because of the latest optimizations across the board for the HD graphics features, such as heavily tuned volumetrics, lots of VGPR magic there, optimized from scratch HD post-processing stack, fast real-time area lights, and so much more. And the team relied on the visual effects graph to create abundant volumetric ambience, constructing compelling atmosphere with detailed visual effects. And now the fast performance of GPU particles in the VFX is what allowed them to amp up the richness of their scenes while maintaining solid frame rate. And it was easy for the team to create this with a powerful art-eccentric tool. Lighting is at the core of visual storytelling. With well-crafted lights, you create suspense, or you can diffuse a tense situation. Yet often, complex lighting takes hours to create. Long baking steps can make any story iteration tenuous. With HDRP, performant, rich, and high-quality lighting types, for the first time, the demo team was able to express their creative vision for this particular experience for a complex, cinematic quality world entirely with real-time lights. Now, light layers enabled a lot of custom setup for key parts of the scene. For example, like lighting the main character or putting particles in separate layers, enabling cinematic control for the creators. And this is actually how live action films are made. HD lights in particular are physically based, with real-world units. What this means is it allows artists to use their experience from real world to guide the lighting setup. You know, the light bulbs, you know, the sun.
Zajebiste. Po prostu kurwa zajebiste.
It just works.
Nie mów tego, co może mówić tylko Jason.
We're able to pick up a lot of micro details of complex surfaces. That's what allows us to actually have the eyelashes cast proper shadows on the face in a performant manner. That's something that's really hard otherwise. And all of this came with really fast iteration for artists. They maintained their high visual bar expectations, and still they were able to achieve stellar runtime performance.
Tego timeline'a też bym się nauczył. Kurczę, też by było fajnie.
A lot of Legos to build the digital human's appearance. All of the organic materials for skin, hair, fabrics are available as HD master nodes in the shader graph. The demo team took them, pushed them to 11, and really customized the heck out of them to create a truly realistic human. The cinematographer's lens directs our attention. It drives the viewer focus in. The camera properties can intensify our emotions, or, with a focal length change, can rapidly build a sense of surprise. In film, this is controlled entirely through actual physical properties of the lens itself. With the new HD post-processing stack, Vess, the creative director of The Heretic, achieved the filmic look by deep use of physical camera that's fully supported with the new HD post stack. And this stack is the next level revolution for post-processing at Unity, upgraded, rewritten from scratch for maximal integration with HDRP. For example, the new HD bloom effect is fully energy conserving with a much more natural look. It's stable for all ranges of values, and it's also aided by pre-exposition to help with high physical values. It also supports a wide range of scene exposures. What does that mean? That means that for creators,
I jednak nadal większość rzeczy osiągnięte na postprocesach. Świetne.
It behaves consistently and predictably. Personally, I'm actually really excited about our new algorithm for depth of field. Some of you who've seen the graphics updates, or Jar of Awesome as I call it, probably have seen this excitement from me. This algorithm uses resolution-independent, scalable parametric bokeh shape with proper aperture control. It accurately supports anamorphism. It also recreates the cat eye effect of the camera, which occurs when the light enters camera at an angle. Now, these physical imperfections, they bring completely new level of naturalness to the resulting frame.
To jest teraz najlepsze, że teraz w tej grafice, w grach komputerowych, że trochę już coraz bardziej idziemy w to, żeby odtwarzać dosłownie to, jak to działa w fizycznym świecie, i to bardzo podnosi tę jakość, no nie?
Faster performance, wider and more precise blurs, and also no halo artifacts. There is a new film grain for HD that makes you really feel like a perfect cinematic grain quality. And there's a really good reason for it, because we relied on a high-resolution reference grain. But artists can scan in the grains and make it their own. Now, there's one more component to HD post-processing stack that I personally find very handy. It's the Panini projection, which is a mathematical rule for constructing perspective for very wide fields of view. It's not named after a sandwich. It is in fact named in honor of Giampaolo Panini, an 18th century Roman painter and a professor of perspective. This obscure mathematical formula, integrated to the new HD post stack, enables creators to work with a wide variety of display form factors. You set it up in a minute, and it doesn't matter if you display it on a 16:9, on a phone screen, or on an ultra-wide display at a keynote. It just works. And I want to thank again to the amazing demo team for introducing
Ale
us
to
to the
Jason
beautiful
powinien
world of the Heretic.
O tako.
And I also want to
I
thank
Nvidia powinien. O
Natalie.
takojo. Ale to demko przepiękne, zajebiste po prostu. O mój Boże.
That's a wrap for our show tonight. We covered a lot of ground, from demonstrating why Unity is the platform for mobile game developers, to showing you how much progress we've made with performance and graphics. And we look forward to launching 2019.1 with you this spring. Thank you. And of course, have a fantastic GDC.
Is that the end? Oh, that is the end. Wow.
And we're back.
Oh my goodness.
What did you think of that, Liz?
What to end on? Like, the Heretic is just insane, and I get chills every time I see it. Like, we've seen bits internally, and now that it's just been unveiled.
We've had it spoiled, but you just got to see it for the first time.
Demo team, you're amazing. Thank you.
Awesome
It's
work.
incredible.
I can't help but feel that maybe we've spoiled people a little bit too much tonight with too much Unity goodness.
Oh, one thing, sorry, that I will say is
Yes.
that the Heretic is on the booth. So Heretic and ECS is on the booth. We're going to be demoing it. If you want to see this more in depth, come. We can't wait to show you.
Come play with it.
Really can't wait.
Yeah, and also the ray tracing demo, the BMW thing. I don't know about you. I think we made the same mistake. I thought the other car was the fake car.
Because I always thought that the specular was super high. I was like, that's the fake one.
No. That's real life.
Totally wrong.
So yeah, if you go to unity3d.com/ray-tracing, you can check out that demo properly and get really in depth with it. I think that's on the booth as well. I'm not entirely sure. It might be. But you can also check out The Heretic. You can watch it again on YouTube. Keep watching it back. Keep seeing all those tiny, amazing details. What else did you enjoy tonight, Liz?
It was great to see so many titles using lightweight render pipelines, Shadergraph 2. That was awesome. I loved the aerial water shader effect.
Yeah.
And like the reusability of it to create other kind of systems. That was just
I'm looking forward to playing around with the whole nested subgraph thing. I haven't tried that yet. It's really cool.
Oh my God, I just can't stop thinking about the Heretics.
There's a lot to take in. I really love the AR Foundation as well. We're getting punked.
You rock, brother.
Thanks, man. Audience interaction. That's what we're all about.
I love it. And don't forget, JR said, maybe you should watch the Google keynote tomorrow.
Yes, Google keynote tomorrow.
A już oglądaliśmy Google Keynote, to tam wiecie, lećcie, zobaczcie na kanale.
But it's really cool. So yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel, keep watching us, keep tracking us, and you'll see a whole lot of this stuff. Everything from GDC will be there, and you'll get it all first.
So thank you.
Thank you indeed. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time at Unite in September in Copenhagen. But for now, good night.
Have a great GDC.
Bye.
Bye.
No dobra, to kończymy to. Fajny kinocik, podobał mi się. Bardzo fajny. No, kurwa mać, no, ja jestem po prostu rozjebany przez to, jakie rzeczy są w stanie ludzie robić, na przykład na takim Unity. W ogóle, kurwa, zrobienie czegoś takiego, no dla mnie to jest naprawdę, no kurwa, niepojęte, bo ja mówię, ja z tych artystycznych rzeczy to jestem pośledzony, no nie? Ale to jest niesamowite. Ja bym bardzo chciał coś takiego umieć robić, ale nie wiem, czy bym się już był w stanie tego nauczyć. A ja muszę sobie poczytać, co byście tu pisali, bo nie chciałem czytać, bo się tak skupiłem na tym, to było takie zajebiste, że nie wiem, o co tam chodzi na tym czacie. Rakiety startują jak... A, no tak, rakiety startują jak karton, tak, prawda? No, dokładnie tak jak tutaj tam Lenin spisał. No dobra, to tak jak mówię, no tu będziemy kończyć tego keynote'a. Keynote'a już nie ma, ja sobie wyłączę to, żeby wam nie pokazywać, tutaj mojego pulpitu nie ma. Tu już mi pokazuje keynote z panem Jensenem Huangiem. 2 godziny 40 minut, trochę on jest dłuższy od tego, co było dzisiaj w Unity. No ale i tak, obejrzymy to sobie. A, ten animator pokazać, dobra, mam... A, tylko to nie jest w tym projekcie. Dobra, zaraz, to ja wam pokażę najbardziej skomplikowany animator, jaki zrobiłem i sobie porównamy do tamtego animatora. Kurwa, znowu nie ten... A dobra, na szczęście 2 razy nie otworzy mi projektu. Dobra, to będzie ten projekt. To jeszcze... Dobra, to zaraz, dobra Denis, to co ci teraz pokażę, przygotuj się, bo będzie ci bardzo smutno. Uwaga, czekaj, stream przyciszony, proszę. To jest to, co teraz robię, czyli już losowanie zleceń. Także, no. A jeśli chodzi o tego animatora... A jeśli chodzi o animatora, to się musi załadować projekt. Ale zaraz animator też będzie. Wait, to nie ten. Nie wiem, gdzie on będzie teraz, bo już dawno w tym projekcie nie byłem. To i to będzie... Menu kamera. O, dobra, to jest mój najbardziej skomplikowany animator, jaki zrobiłem w życiu. Proszę. W porównaniu do tamtego to kurwa z Call of Duty nawet nie ma podejścia. Zero. Dwie zmienne są w nim. Dobra, to tyle. Wyłączamy ten stary projekt. Nie, bo dla mnie to nie ma być ładne, ja teraz to robiłem na szybko jeszcze przed streamem, żeby już mam mieć jakby bazę, no nie? Teraz będę kod rozkminiał. Tego specjalnie tutaj folder się nazywa temp.y, no nie? No wiesz, na przykład to te slidery są skopiowane z drzewka, drzewko jest tu. Drzewko też wygląda chujowo moim zdaniem generalnie. Ale działa. No tu, o, tylko tu już widzę, mi się popisał opisy i opisy są za długie. Nie czytam tych opisów, aż będę musiał to robić. No można na przykład sobie skakać do rzeczy, na przykład tutaj odblokowaną umiejętność, tutaj mamy wymagane umiejętności. O, coś. O, znalazłem buga. Nie wiem za bardzo na czym... A, dobra, już wiem na czym bug polega, okej. Okej, to będę musiał poprawić, okej. No i widzicie, przy okazji jeszcze bug go znalazłem. No, ale można sobie skakać pomiędzy komponentami. No wiadomo, tam odblokowaniem to już swoją drogą. Tam też gdzieś działa jakieś tam dawanie statystyk dla postaci. To są generalnie te slidery tutaj. No i tyle. I jakieś błądy wywala. No widzicie, nie testowane, także... Okej, a czemu to nie działa? No dobra. Inaczej. O. Dobra. O, przy okazji jeszcze mały ten. Mówisz wyłączyć ten smooth? Mi się wydaje, że ten... Znaczy, no mogę wyłączyć, nie ma problemu. Czyli to będzie elasticity, no nie, tak? Nie, wait, źle. Tak źle. A nie, dobrze. A to tak dziwnie, jak tak... Tak moim zdaniem, no takie... Tak... No dziwnie to wygląda. W tym momencie masz jeszcze te, wiesz, jakby... Specjalnie masz te... robione, żeby, no... I też muszę wymyślić coś innego na zoomowanie, bo to aktualne zoomowanie działa tak średnio. Generalnie. No ale działają te wszystkie kreski i tak dalej, to jest dobre, no nie? I tak też nie jest do końca zrobione, bo jeszcze każdy skill będzie miał swój jakby level. Też nie wiem jeszcze jak to dokładnie będzie, no ale tak to wygląda. Jeszcze muszę poprawić maksymalne oddalenie, bo jest źle, ale to tam... No. Także, biorąc pod uwagę to, a to co pokazywali na tej konferencji, to wiecie, nawet podejścia nie ma, no nie? Sprawdźmy by. Dobra, ale tak mam publicznie to zrobić, czy nie? Dobra, to na wszelki wypadek to zrobię niepublicznie, żeby nie było. Dobra, to jak mogę pokazać, to pokażę. Timeline startu rakiety. Proszę bardzo. To też w porównaniu do tego, co było w tym demie, to jest to gówno. Ale tak to wygląda. Dobra, kończymy w takim razie. Ja idę jeszcze sobie pomontuję trochę film z koncertu. Niedługo na kanale vlogowym się pojawi. Wyszedł póki co całkiem fajnie. Jeszcze oczywiście będę go poprawić 10 000 razy, ale może być póki co mi się podoba. Tylko on się powinien pojawić za tydzień. Jakoś w tygodniu będzie jeszcze o Google Stadia. Na pewno. I później nie wiem co będzie. Kiedy stream z Unity? Nie wiem. Raczej nie planuję. No i możecie tak, jeżeli Denis streamuje, możesz tam weź Denis, zarzuć linka do swojego streama, to zapraszam do Deniska w takim razie. No i co? I koniec w takim razie, także ja raczej nie jutro, nie wiem czy jutro mi się będzie chciało oglądać tą konferencję Nvidia. Zobaczymy, bo nie wiem jak będzie z czasem. O jest, to weź sobie zmień konto Denis, nie chce mi się już tam, bo będę miał znowu za dużo modów. Za dużo kont. Dobra, także dzięki za oglądanie. Ja uciekam, jak mówię, jeszcze chwilę sobie pomontuję film, później pewnie idę spać, bo już trochę późno się nam zrobiło. No i co, czekamy na Unity 2019, wtedy coś może będziemy bardziej testować te nowe feature'y, chociaż z tych nowych feature'ów ja muszę trochę doczytać o tym C# Jobs, bo to podobno dobrze optymalizuje kod i tak dalej. Także to ewentualnie z tych rzeczy, które takie byłyby dla mnie do użytku, a tak to nic za bardzo, wydaje mi się. Ale zobaczymy. Tak czy jak, dzięki za uwagę i do zobaczenia na kolejnych streamach. Kurwa, czym się odbiło. Pa, pa!